The Spirit causes the bones to move. What does the Spirit of God do? He allows us to move, to get moving on with our life, to move. So many believers get caught in the same thing all the time, and even in the name of the Spirit. If you're living the Spirit, you're moving from glory to glory to glory. Now, as we bring this home, because we've done a lot tonight, I want to just take this to another level. I began by noting there were two events this weekend: the Feast of Shavuot, Pentecost, and the anniversary of the liberation of Jerusalem on this day, June 7th. Actually, it's going to take us through this weekend because the Six-Day War lasts until June 10th, that's what it'll be in Israel when we gather on Sunday. But I said, could there be a connection between the two, Shavuot and those soldiers coming in? Well, there is, because God said to Ezekiel, these bones are the house of Israel. It was dead. God said, I am going to resurrect Israel. I'm going to resurrect my nation. My nation is dead as a nation. I am going to resurrect it. So this vision is first about the resurrection of Israel. Not only then, but in our own day. In fact, the most dramatic resurrection wasn't then. It's today. It's in our day, when he gathered them from the ends of the earth. When he took them after not 70 years, but after 2,000 years from the ends of the earth, gathered them back as he said he would in the prophets. In that day, I will gather them from the north and the south and the east and the west, and I will bring them back from all the places I have scattered them, and they will again come to the land of Israel. The woman with child, the lame with weeping, they shall come, and none shall make them afraid. That's pretty cool. I will gather them back. So the nation of Israel was resurrected in the 20th century, and it's still to this day. It's still the process of resurrection. How it came together, I've shared this once, just as this vision did. Piece by piece. First, he took the scattered pieces of Jewish people from all around the world. They're the remnants of ancient Israel. They're all over the world. He took the pieces together. Then he formed skeletons. Israel began as a skeleton government, a skeleton culture, a skeleton language. It was all done like from the form, but it didn't have flesh on it. Then he starts filling it in. It's exactly as this resurrection. And so then comes the resurrection of the land, the resurrection of the people of Israel, the resurrection of the language. Even the language is resurrected from the dead. The resurrection of the cities on their ancient ruins, they come up and they become cities again. The resurrection of the Israeli farmer who last was seen in the days of Jesus. The resurrection of the Israeli soldier. The resurrection happened just as in the dry bones. But what happened on today's date was part of that resurrection of God's hand. The resurrection is not going to be complete without Jerusalem. So part of the dry bones coming together was Jerusalem, the center of Israel. And remember, this is where all it's going to happen. Messiah's not coming back to Hoboken. He's not coming back to Secaucus. He's coming back to Jerusalem. So Jerusalem had to come back so he can come back. And the Jewish people had to come back there because he said they would be there when he comes again. But all that's part of this vision of resurrection. So what is this vision? When those Israeli paratroopers entered through the Lion's Gate, and for the first time in 2,000 years, you have the Israeli soldiers walking the streets of their ancient city in the appointed time of God, as God said. What is it after? How does this all relate to us? It's the vision, it's the part of the dry bones.
To find out how you can receive more of Jonathan's teachings, to receive special free gifts, or get in touch, go to hopeoftheworld.org or call toll-free 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821. You can also get more at Jonathan Cahn's Facebook page or write us direct at Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA.